Alrighty, chat. I can't believe that I'm talking about this quite genuinely. This is one of those things where it's like, I really didn't want to. So, we've talked to him on this channel before. Link Riley of the Jaded Pulse Band. We had a little... I arguably would say it's kind of part of Winter Talks, but that's neither here nor there. He's someone I've interacted with in the past, and I believe that inherently, I think Link is a good guy. He's someone with some good music taste for that matter, but there is a small problem. He is very uninformed on politics, specifically something that he has been trying to talk about in numerous videos, American politics, which is primarily, not completely, what we're going to be kind of studying over the course of this little video here. This is being streamed live, but I am going to be cutting it up intermittently because I feel like that is necessary to do for a video of this. So, we are going to be checking out one video in particular, and that is this one. Yeah, let's just begin here, because we've got quite a bit to talk about.
Woke people are the most insufferable people on earth. Now, it was millennials that started this whole woke progressive act, but it's my generation, Gen Z, that have carried on with this legacy of being the dumbest generation. G'day legends, Link from Jaded Pulse, and today we're going to look at some of the worst woke people on the internet.
Okay, so that is kind of topic one for our video today. Let us define something, shall we? Let us begin with a little crash course. Let's define woke, shall we? So, woke originated in African American vernacular English to mean being awake or alert to racial prejudice and social injustices. While historically signaling proactive awareness of system inequality, the term has evolved to a polarizing political label often used by critics as a prerogative to describe progressive or far-left ideologies regarding identity politics. So, let's talk about this one. So, woke is, it's a buzz term for people on specific sides of specific political aisles to be able to dish out some kind of whataboutism and or criticism on their end to signify that this one thing, person, place, what have you, does not line up with their ideology. What woke actually is simply signaling that something is aware of social injustices. That's not inherently a bad thing, because, for example, nowadays, I'd say not liking Nazis is pretty woke. But because of that, there is a certain subset of people, who we will be talking about in a little bit here, who have just brushed that off as being woke. Now, I don't know about you, but personally, to me, hating Nazis is a pretty cool thing. Like, hating Nazis is a pretty justifiable thing to have in your mind. Agreed? No? Then we've got a problem. If yes, then, my friend, you may be woke. Let's keep moving.
Unfortunately, that woman has a disability that just cannot be fixed. She has a disability called Trump derangement syndrome. Nowadays, in this modern era, it's normal to have Trump derangement syndrome. If you hate Trump, you're a normal person. And if you like him, you're a hateful human being. I like Donald Trump. I think he's very funny. But I also think he knows how to run a country really well. And that's why I fully support Pauline Hanson, because she's basically the Australian Trump. On your Pauline, on ya. You give a fuck about this country unlike any other politician does.
How can you have a job?
Okay, so that is the end of that. So, let's talk about this one too. Liking Trump is not a good thing. We're going to talk about that. Let's start with... Does anybody know what this site is here in chat? Does anybody know? To those of you who don't know, this is the official DOJ page of what we call the Epstein Files. And as you can see, I have looked up the name of one specific man, Trump. And there are 4,557 results. Now, here's the interesting thing. Over the last few weeks and months, the DOJ has actually removed several of these files that contain Trump's name in here. So much so that the original number tallied of mentions of this man in these files was 38,000 times. Now, here's the really interesting thing about that. Let's compare that number. Let's compare that to the title character of a long-running fantasy series, one that I think is a benchmark for a lot of people in fantasy. Harry Potter. Now, Harry Potter is not only the namesake of the book, but the main character of the story. He is mentioned so very often in those books. Want to know how many times his name is said in those books? 18,757 times. That means if we are looking at this just from the stuff that was removed, just from the stuff that is unredacted in half of the total amount of Epstein files, Trump's name appears more than double that of Harry fucking Potter in his own fucking book series. Now, not only that, but the last few weeks have gotten a lot of rise out of whistleblowers, and one name especially has revealed that Trump's name doesn't appear that many times. It appears more than 1 million times across 6 million documents in the unredacted files. That's fucking absurd. And especially as Kafafi just said, we have less than 4% of the total existing files, and he already appears that many times. Now, you can say all you want, but if you appear more than Harry fucking Potter in his own book series in a bunch of files that aren't even your name, that's an issue. Next point on Mr. Trump. There is a little jury verdict form that we have here in a case that is known as Trump v. Carroll. Now, E. Jean Carroll was a woman that Trump had interesting terms with. So, this is the official jury verdict from the case of E. Jean Carroll. Question two. Did Mr. Trump sexually abuse Miss Carroll? Yes. And now, that is just on the charge of sexual assault. Donald Trump provably sexually assaulted a woman. I don't know about you, but that's a pretty fucking serious, heinous crime. I don't understand how you could like him after that. Personally, that's just me though. I don't know. Do you have a problem with sexually assaulting people, Link? Do you not? Because if you don't, there's a bit of an issue there. I don't know about you. Okay. And let's move on to this. Defamation. Trump tried to sue E. Jean Carroll for defamation because of this claim. However, an interesting thing happened here. Did Miss Carroll prove that by preponderance of evidence that Mr. Trump's statements was defamatory? Yes. Did Miss Carroll prove by clear and convincing evidence that Mr. Trump's statement was false? Yes. And that Mr. Trump made the statement with actual malice? Also, yes. Responded and corresponded by 9 different jurors. Link, I don't know about you. There's a clear-cut case here. Donald Trump is a sexual abuser, for one. That alone should have deserved to be not ever included in politics ever again, nor should he have been allowed to continue his own company. He should have been where all sexual abusers go, under your words specifically in your Predator video. Where should he be? Behind bars, not in the public. Now, there is another thing that Mr. Trump did. There's another case in which Trump has been revealed to be a lot worse of a person than people think he is. This man, across this document here, committed 34 counts of falsified business records. 34 felony counts admitted to the name of Mr. Donald J. Trump. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think 34 felony counts shouldn't go unpunished. Do you? Do you think that someone should be able to commit 34 felonies in one case, might I add, along with sexual assault 2 years later, and still be allowed to run in office? Do you? Now, to my knowledge, you're probably going to make a response on this. Because this, you respond a certain way. There's no defending this shit. Absolutely not. Trump derangement syndrome, as you call it, is not a real thing. It's hating a man who is justifiably able to be hated. Not only that, he does not know how to run a country. It's easy to say that he ran the country well when you're watching from Australia, but those of us living here in America saw actual damage. His first term was defined by infrastructure week becoming a running joke because no major infrastructure bill ever passed when he offered at least 12 in his presidency and his running campaign. Instead, he slashed the NPA protections. He pushed for privatized projects that would have benefited his wealthy donors rather than the public. And now, in 2026, his second-term tariffs have roiled global markets and strained relations with everybody from Canada to the EU. He didn't build, he deregulated, which isn't the same as running the country. It's handing the keys to corporations and leaving the public with the bill. He has run over $500 billion in the first year and 2 months of this term alone. Motherfucker, I don't know about you, but that's not knowing how to run a country. Get the fuck out of here. There's a very specific irony here. An Australian creator sitting in an entirely different hemisphere, might I add, telling Americans how great their country is under a man who's trying to dismantle that very federal institution that keeps democracy stable. Link, you get to enjoy the safety of a country with universal fucking health care and strict gun laws. You have no room to discuss about anything that is going on over here. Get your foot out of your fucking mouth. Get your head out of your ass. It's easy to be a fan of Trump being funny when you don't have to live with the consequences of his fucking policy. Get the fuck out of here, man. What the fuck? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to be an idiot? Because it's working. America has prided itself on the ability to arm yourself and defend yourself. Trump is trying to take that shit away. Again, get your foot out of your ass. Don't talk about American politics unless you know shit about American politics. Because here's a good old news flash for you. It's not something I talk about a lot, but I know a fuck ton about American politics. I will crush you in any sort of argument or debate you will ever fucking have. I lived with a father who was on both sides and in the middle of every fucking aisle out there. Test me, motherfucker. You will not win. Get out of here. Don't talk about our affairs ever again.
And the baby hasn't even decided what gender it's gonna be yet.
Gender is not a choice. Gender is biology. And a lot of people's arguments will be
that gender is a social construct that we've come up with.
no, it isn't.
Yes, it is. The World Health Organization. Allow me to read off this for you. Gender refers to the characteristics of women, men, girls, and boys that are socially constructed. This includes norms, behaviors, and roles associated with being a woman, man, girl, or boy, as well as relationships with each other. As a social construct, gender varies from society to society and can change over time. Now, here's the big thing. Gender interacts with, but is different from sex, which refers to the different biological and physiological characteristics of females, males, and intersex persons, such as chromosomes, hormones, and reproductive organs. Gender and sex are related to, but different from gender identity. Gender identity refers to a person's deeply felt, internal, and individual experience of gender, which may or may not correspond to the person's physiology or designated sex at birth. Now, come again. I don't know about you, but I think that pretty clearly states gender is a social construct. Sex is not. That is the determining factor you're looking at here. I'm actually going to bring up your video about this again because you say something that specifically is arguing against your point.
There's only two, male or female. If that baby has a penis, it's a boy. If that baby has a vagina, it's a girl. Can't believe that's considered as hate speech in the big old 26.
There's actually two things wrong here. One, you're talking about sex. And you've forgotten one thing. Intersex. There are people born with both. Now, are those just not real to you, Link? Do those people not exist? Because I don't know about you, But that's pretty discriminatory right fucking there. I know an intersex person. I'm friends with that person. I talk to them pretty well often. It's really cool. It is estimated that 1 to 2% of all people on this planet are intersex. It's pretty common to find them. Didn't bring them up in your video though, because that would go against your argument. Not only that, but again, you're referring to sex, not gender. Big difference.
If ever peed on a plane, I have some news for you. You used a gender-neutral bathroom.
Yeah, okay. You know what else happened? Basically what happens is when I shat in the plane, like on the way to my holiday last year,
I went to the toilet.
and when I flushed, actually the poo came out of the plane, like it just came out the bottom of the plane because it just goes into water. And so this was a bird's point of view when, you know, the shit went past it. Yeah, that's what happened. Anyway, I don't even know the point that this bloke's trying to make.
And nothing happened to you, right? You just did your business and you were fine? Because that's how bathrooms work. And when you were done, you didn't feel the need to manufacture some rant about how socialism is trying to destroy our kids?
Well, it is trying to destroy our children. As a wannabe father, I'm terrified of this new world. But not because of people like Trump and Pauline Hanson, because of fuckwits like this.
Really? You're not concerned about a rapist walking around? A man who sexually assaulted another woman, and who has admitted to going into the changing rooms of beauty pageants that he owns, specifically because he owns them. Going into those rooms filled with girls from as young as 14 or 15. You're okay with that? You're not concerned about that? I don't know, that says something about you, man. That says something.
I have a feeling I'm probably about to very badly upset my grandmother.
Yeah, you probably are. Why? Because you're about to tell her that you're her sister. Like, there is a difference between transgender people and people who just say that they're trans. There's a lot of trans people who actually look like the gender that they have become, I guess. My kids will never be trans or non-binary or any of that. But there's some people who just say they're trans and do not look anything like it or even sound like it. And they expect us to call them ma'am or sir or fucking whatever they are.
This one is really, really dumb to me and really doesn't make sense. There are so many people who don't have access to the healthcare necessary, especially in North America, because there's a lot of people who don't have universal healthcare here. That kind of thing isn't free. You can't just get a procedure without having tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars for a procedure. Also, gender-affirming care is something that is procedurally being snuffed out. That is completely fucking ridiculous right there. That might be one of the most absurd things I've ever heard you say. And trust me, especially over the last few videos, I've seen a lot of them. That is the very clearest example of not understanding what the fuck you're talking about in terms of this that I've seen from you. This is more egregious, honestly, than the Trump thing. That's actual fucking hate speech. That is dangerous rhetoric to have. Genuinely, actually dangerous.
It's November 18th, and this is within 5 days of the time that I expect her to ask whether or not I will be there for Thanksgiving.
Why wouldn't you be there for Thanksgiving? I don't think political views should divide a family. Like, I've got different political views to my entire family, and we all still love each other. I hope.
And she's not going to be happy with my response if she actually asks. Because you see, my grandmother, a first-generation German citizen, moved here when she was 19, back in the 1960s, voted for Trump.
Once again, this is the Trump derangement syndrome problem.
There is no cure for it.
Have you noticed that Republicans are always pro-Republican? And Liberals are never pro-Liberal, they're always just anti-Trump. They always talk about how shit the other side is, but never talk about how good they are.
Especially with what's going on right now in the world. The thing I'm having a huge difficulty with here is not understanding how having different political views can make you not want to spend time with your family, to make you separate from your family. Okay, hi. So, editing Winter here. Here's the thing that I was trying to say. I didn't quite convey this very well in my stream. I don't get the mentality of how not aligning with political beliefs doesn't make it so that, you know, things like Thanksgiving or family get-togethers aren't acceptable anymore. There are so many people in this world right now who have separated from their families for not aligning with political beliefs, because a lot of said political beliefs, especially in today's day and age, with everything that I cover in the video after this point, a lot of rights are being taken away. There's a lot of problems that are happening in the world because of certain institutions that specific members of specific families allow to be put into a place of power. And it's when you communicate with people like that who really don't want to see another side of any kind of argument that there is, why would you want to associate with that person? Why would you want to associate with people who have, whether indirectly or directly, brought you harm because of an institution? There's a bit of a standard there that needs to be set in place. If you hurt me, blood doesn't matter. If you allow something to be set in place that disenfranchises me or any group of people just because of who they are, that's not acceptable. It's simply just not.
And I am going to tell the woman whose family left Germany after the end of World War II because of the problems there and the remains of a certain party.
Yeah, that party. But liberals like to compare Republicans, specifically ones like Charlie Kirk was and, Trump now. They like to compare them to Nazis. But like Charlie Kirk said, these people aren't anti-trans, they're pro-reality.
If you say that, you'd think you'd look up what genuinely exists in reality. Or just generally informing yourself at all. You never do that. You always ask the questions and expect specific responses. You don't expect receipts. That's the problem with people on the right. It's kind of sad, because, everything you're saying is wrong. Everything you're saying is wrong. Also, to get one thing straight here, I don't think we should take the opinions of Charlie Kirk into consideration here. Because, number one, I'm not Charlie Kirk. And, number two, I'm not fucking dead.
That she voted for a literal Yahtzee and the people, the Yahtzees and the KKK back. And that I can no longer feel safe in her house, even just for the sake of a dinner.
You've literally got it super easy in life. You're not oppressed. In fact, you and my generation have it extremely easy. We don't have wars, any of that shit. The only problem we have is money. And unfortunately in Australia, we're a divided country.
Oh boy. So, first of all, that person you were just talking about from that clip there was a woman. Now, I don't know about you, but especially now in America, with the overturning of a specific legislation known as Roe v. Wade that originally allowed women to get abortions with no issue, that legislation was overturned. And I don't know about you, but that's oppression of a woman's right. And you just said she's not. And that clearly, that's oppression that she's facing, that you as a man are not. So, talking about this a little bit, Link says, we have no wars. Well, right now, there is a massive land war. Easily the largest land war since World War II. In Europe, right now it's happening versus Ukraine. And there is a massive humanitarian crisis with Israel and Palestine in the Middle East. Both of which have massive global economic and psychological ripples for everybody involved in the world. I don't know about you, but those are two pretty big fucking wars right now. And as for only money, we'll talk about this. Housing costs have outpaced wages by nearly 300% since the 1970s. Gen Z is the first generation in modern history projected to be poorer than their parents were in their prime generation. We are facing a mental health epidemic and an environmental crisis that you seem happy to ignore from the comfort of your little Australian bedroom. Calling a generation dumb for being stressed about the collapse of the overall middle class isn't a hot take. It's you being out of touch with reality. Unfucking believable. You're not aware about anything in the world right now. Not just stuff on the right, not just stuff on the left, but this is the world we're talking about. It doesn't have to be labeled as World War I or World War II for it to be a war that exists. For there to be huge economic and socio-political problems that exist in the world. What the fuck are you talking about? We are in an era of complete crisis. This is insane. What we're living with, what we've had to deal with for the last 15 straight years is fucking nuts. Well, yes, I am angry at you for being so uninformed about this, but it's not really angering. It's just making me laugh. It's funny. It's so funny how uninformed you are. It's so fucking funny.
Men are going to live in fear.
Yep. I'm terrified of women like you, because women like you are the reason that men kill themselves.
No, they're not. So, first of all, let's look at this. One of the primary reasons that men kill themselves is substance abuse. Self-medicate while they're suffering from symptoms of depression and anxiety, something that oftentimes men deal with very much because they don't often speak out about it. Right up here. Less willing to report symptoms of depression, which some see as one explanation for why women are more regularly diagnosed with mental health conditions. And because of that, about 7% of men have an alcohol use disorder compared to 4% of women. That's a pretty substantial one right there. I actually read a report about this the other day. About 6 people in my state alone die from alcohol-related crashes in my state, Wisconsin. Look it up. Every single day. The leading factor in all that is men. They drink themselves into a stupor. They drink themselves stupid and end up dying because of it. Why do you think that a single bit of alcohol has never touched my lips? Another reason is financial pressures. Men have a tendency to view themselves as a failure if they aren't able to provide for their families. During financial downturns, BBC reports rates of suicide increase, making men more at risk if they lose their job during a recession. When workplace trauma and unwillingness to speak up and the risk of substance abuse, once again over here, combined with a drastic change in someone's life, risk of suicide can increase dramatically. Now, Link, just a question. What do women have to do with that? Where are women there? Where'd they go? Here's the other thing. They're not.
Look at you and think, fuck this! But another social norm nowadays is hating on men, specifically straight white guys. Like myself. It depends on who you ask. A lot of, including my girlfriend, think I'm gay. But it's not gay if it's with the homies, right?
Oh, women are so sensitive.
Well, they are. You're a prime example.
Women are so sensitive. Why don't you smile? Why don't you fuck me? Die!
She'd be brilliant at heavy metal. Tell you what, I'm gonna harmonize with her.
Die!
It's Office Thursday lunchtime confessional.
Holy shit! It's Peter Griffin's sister!
That comment is very, very based in fat phobia, which, by the way, not cool. Don't do that.
I had a hard time going into the office today.
Yeah, I bet you did. I bet they came in, they fucking put you in handcuffs and was like, you have the right to remain sexy, darling. Oh yeah.
I sat in the car after I pulled in the parking lot and just kind of had to screw up the courage a little bit because
It's probably what I'm gonna look like in my 40s.
it is a largely conservative. Now, everyone's been super cool. You know, nobody's giving me any guff because they'll lose their job if they do. I had to sit there, just kind of take a few deep breaths, walk through that door, chin up, shoulders back, tits forward, show them who's boss.
Did that prick just say tits forward?
I've never heard that before.
I want that on a t-shirt now. That should be like the first ever Link Riley merch. We'll have the Link Riley logo with it on a t-shirt. By the way, if you want one, Mr. Collada, I'll actually get one for you. And also we'll have shoulders back, tits forward.
Did anyone in chat left that? Because if not, Link, why the fuck did you say that? That was a whole lot of fuck nothing right there.
Fuck my ginger cat! It's like looking in a skinny mirror. What the fuck is wrong with your chin, dude? Man, sorry. Well, I'm not sorry. But
You know, saying that little bit of not sorry, you see why we're here. If you don't, we've got issues.
you're like a rooster. This is another problem with liberals.
And woke people in general.
They love to be the victim. They enjoy being oppressed and, you know, all that shit. When in reality, they've got it easier than anyone at the moment. They just want something to complain about because they've had it so simple for such a long time.
Excuse the fuck out of me? Did this guy just say people enjoy being oppressed and having to complain about societal issues? Huh? Why would we enjoy that? Why would we enjoy being looked down upon? Why would we enjoy having other people not respect us? Huh? What? What even is that? I am so confused about that one. Do you have anything to back that up, by the way? Do you have anything to back up the fact that people want to be oppressed? To have to shout day and night that things are going wrong where they're living and how they're living and how the government is fucking them or how systems are fucking them? No. Because it's just not fucking true? Then here's an idea. As you yourself say, you're a straight white guy, you're not part of the LGBTQ plus community. Shut the fuck up about it. Actually, shut the fuck up. because you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Once again. You have no idea. No idea at all.
Take it from somebody that used to be a man.
Really? I didn't know. Did you used to be a man? Wow, you look really feminine.
This is the other thing. You talked before about, like, complaining about people who make the attempt to transition and don't look it, or who do make the attempt to transition and do look it. But then when someone says that they used to be, and you yourself couldn't tell, you just do that. There's a distinct double standard here that's happening. And I'd wager to say the correct term is that that's really fucked up. That's really shitty. That's a very toxic attitude to have. And it really lends to the fact that a lot of right-wingers just can't be pleased when it comes to these issues, because you never accept one side or the other. At this point, we've been running for about an hour and 9 minutes now. I'm not mad. I'm just really fucking disappointed.
You got boobs. You got a vajayjay.
No, I don't. I've got a very small penis that looks like a vajayjay.
Guess what, honey? You own them. Trust me, they want it. Make them own it.
Yeah. My girlfriend owns me.
Darling owns me.
In fact, she's actually gonna buy a leash for my birthday so that she can walk me around the park.
You know, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that at all. I really don't. I'm just gonna leave it at that with that one.
Oh my god, this is the biggest example of Trump derangement syndrome. This woman here. There are so many women out there, even Australian women, who think that rights have been taken away from them just because Trump got elected. Newsflash, babe, nothing's changed.
Roe v. Wade, once again. Yes, they have. Rights are being taken away. And towards the LGBTQ plus community, rights to gender-affirming care have been taken away. I don't know about you, but those are rights being taken away. And in Australia, I don't see that happening because, guess what? In Australia, you're not affected by Trump because Trump is in fucking America. Whoa! I can't imagine how that wouldn't be a factor. About why that wouldn't be a factor. Shut the fuck up! Whoa, guys, geography fucking exists. Who would have fucking thunk it? You know what? While we're on the topic, you're looking at it, looking at these views and how fucking uninformed Link Riley here is, but it doesn't look like he might believe in that. He might think the earth is flat for all I fucking know. I don't fucking know. It's so fucking dumb. So fucking dumb and uninformed. And not just thinking, oh my god. Ooh.
You're okay.
I just realized that I'm too scared to use dating apps now.
You're too scared to use dating apps now. Unfortunately, straight liberal women will never find a date because there's very rarely any straight liberal dudes. Just to make something clear, I got no problem with your political views. If you're a nice person, who gives a fat shit what your political views are?
We're gonna get to that one at the very end here because, wow.
What bothers me is when you start trying to force those ideologies onto other people, and especially kids.
Anybody who is on the fence about becoming a lesbian, now is your chance! Like, give it a shot, let's give these f***ing men up, like...
And here we go with the man hating again. When did it become just normal to hate dudes? Like, I'm gonna bring up Sabrina Carpenter. I've got a lot of respect for her. She, doesn't give a fuck about any political anything. But a lot of her music videos throughout the entirety of the video is just her killing dudes in
Innocent, brutal ways.
Could you imagine if a dude did that, but switched the genders? Imagine if Jaded Pulse made a video and the entire video was just, like, me killing women. It would get so much fucking backlash. The double standards are just fucking wild with these women.
No, they're not. Because this ignores a fundamental concept of punching up versus punching down. We live in a world nowadays where, statistically, 1 in 4 women. We live in a world where 1 in 4 women experience severe intimate partner violence, and the leading cause of death for pregnant women in the US is homicide. In that world, a music video of a woman getting revenge, especially in the Sabrina Carpenter video that you're talking about, that's a subversion of reality where women are statistically the victim. This world that we live in, that is the reality. 1 in 4 women. You understand that, right? We live in a world of 8 billion people. 8 divided by 16, it's about 500 million people, women, who have been intimately, severely injured by a partner, and where a lot of women are abused. I don't know about you, but that's far more than just a random reason to hate men. And in media, when men depict violence against women, it often mirrors a real-world conflict. Art doesn't exist in a vacuum, though. Sabrina Carpenter's video there, it's a play on the femme fatale trope, which is statistically about women actually gaining power over their oppressors. And as I've kind of said here, 500 million women across the world right now are probably being oppressed, and you don't know it. Your complaint here is a completely false equivalency that ignores the actual safety statistics of the two genders, of the two categories. Again, completely uninformed, completely hateful rhetoric. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. I don't want to hear that shit.
Anyway, I had a lot of fun looking at these fucking people. If you want me to make another video like this, just let me know, because I'd love to make it. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Look after yourselves.
After this, I wouldn't recommend it, because if you make another one of these kinds of videos, I'll fuck your shit up again. Now, you put one final claim in that little video of yours. The claim of, I have no problem with your views if you're a nice person. You spent this entire video calling people idiots, fuckwits, insufferable, monsters. You mocked people's physical appearances without even knowing what they were going to say. You mocked a trans person for not looking the way that you think they should in their transition. You claim... You can't claim to value being a nice person when this entire content strategy is completely built on vitriol and derogatory labels. If your ideology requires you to dehumanize everyone that you disagree with, you aren't the common sense middle ground. You are the person forcing an aggressive, uninformed ideology onto your audience, onto anyone that watches any of these videos. It's so sad to see such a blatant form of hypocrisy and having it used at the end of a video. That's the thing that they're supposed to take away from the video. No. You don't care if they're a nice person. You, especially in this video, have only conveyed that you take a single look at someone, you judge them based off of their appearance, and you base their words off of that appearance, and then conflate the two together to form intense, hated vitriol against people who don't align with your own fucking opinions. That's what you do, Link. That is what you have shown me that you have done. I'm not going to carry on with this any longer because, once again, as I said earlier, I'm not even mad right now. I'm just fucking disappointed. If you make another one of these, I'll be happy to shit on it all over again, providing receipts as I just did earlier. That's about it from me. Peace. In due time, your move, Link.